Naturally, when new gaming related stuff comes out, it's our call of duty to test it and spill our thoughts. And hear me out. ROG Phone 5 is the father of all smartphones. For real. Oddly enough, the first question that popped into my mind upon getting my hands on this bad boy was, why 5? The last model I tested was a ROG Phone 3 back in July 2020. And I wonder, what's the deal with skipping numbers? I mean, yeah, we know Samsung is not capable of counting S9, 10, 20, 21, and so is Apple. iPhone 7, 8, 10, 11. But Samsung chose 20 as in 2020, and Apple came up with the 10 to mark the iPhone's 10th anniversary. On the other hand, Asus is just superstitions. And I'm not kidding. Number 4 begets bad luck in many East Asian countries, just like Friday the 13th is our biggest fear. Don't believe me? Just go and watch all those Asian horror movies that drawn the viewers into the symbolism of number 4. Pretty mainstream, but it works. In fact, there are even buildings with floor deliberately misnumbered. And guess what? ROG Phone follows these steps. 1, 2, 3, boom, 5. Leaving this aside, I present you the newest ROG Phone, launched on the 10th of March. Obviously, I was intrigued and extremely hyped since my last experience with ROG Phone 3 made me name that lucky number 3 the greatest hits of specs. That model simply obliterated any competition and crushed the benchmarks. So, what can we expect from the newest family member? First things first, let's have a broad view. ROG Phone 5 comes in several models, 3 to be more specific. Poor man's standard ROG Phone 5, which in turn offers 3 options as of RAM and storage. 128 gigs with 8 gigs of RAM, 256 with 12 gig of RAM, and this one 256 with a whopping 16 gig of RAM. I mean, that's the same as my 16-inch MacBook Pro. One step further, we find the rich man's ROG Phone 5 Pro, featuring a cool ROG Vision display, which replaces Aura RGB in terms of backlighting. And then the filthy rich man's ROG Phone 5 Ultimate Limited Edition. It has that ROG Vision display, but it's monochrome. Excuse me? It's less colorful than its brothers, but it has some touchpads hidden under its back. Still think that 16 gig of RAM is amazing? Well, guess what? This absolute unit of a phone has 18. All models will be available only in black and white. I am acquainted with both variants, but this one right here is of course the white one. As of pricing, I would say between $800 and $1,000/euros for the classic ROG Phone 5 based on memory and storage combinations. The Pro version will cost $1,200 and the Ultimate one will extract $1,300 out of your wallet. I mean, bro, 18 gigs of RAM. Let's dig deeper into what the new ROG Phone 5 has to offer. No tricks this time. To put it simply, I like it. I like it a lot, much more than its predecessors, for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's something unusual, even exotic. You wouldn't find it everywhere on the smartphone market, yet it's there, and you can spot its sexy wow factor from a mile. Secondly, the ROG Phone line has always been some sort of a test bench designed to help you get an idea of how much can a configuration handle in terms of CPU, cooling, memory, storage, you get it. No point in denying this. I mean, if you want to see how powerful the new Snapdragon 888 really is, you have to use it with an ROG phone. I like the exquisite nature of this phone, the fact that it's not something everyone buys. Notice the exaggerated shape, dimensions and specifications this phone gives off. It's so pleasant. Back then I was so eager to find out how fast the ROG Phone 3 was, and I wasn't disappointed. ROG 3 was the fastest phone, maintaining an all-time relevant Geekbench score of 3,387 points. It easily topped any Samsung or OnePlus, except for the iPhones, but that's another matter. In fact, even the fresh Snapdragon 888 Xiaomi Mi 11 stayed behind ROG Phone 5. Same goes for Galaxy S21 Ultra Exynos 2100 powered and for the Kirin 9000 based Mate 40 Pro. What about ROG Phone 5? Simply put, 3,804 points. Ladies and gentlemen, meet our first place winner. However, I do actually want to point out some odd things. Notice how ROG Phone 3 managed to obtain the best result, and compared to the aforementioned rivals, we were talking about a score difference of hundreds. With the ROG Phone 5, the difference has been narrowed to several tens. So the new phone is faster, but not crazy faster. Why? Because the Snapdragon 888 CPU tends to hit pretty hard, and that's a bit disappointing considering that this processor should be 2021's finest in the Android realm. But the conclusion is quite unexpected. Snapdragon 888 is not a weaker processor. The problem is that the rivals have managed to catch up to it. Nevertheless, ROG Phone 5 is the fastest Android smartphone to date, and these performances have been acquired through a fine and well-designed tuning applied to every bit of this phone. The processor is placed in the middle of the phone. It includes that vapor chamber-based cooling and comes with several performance modes that can be activated in settings. It has that X mode, which simply turns it into a rocket. It even has an X mode plus, assuming you attach the additional cooling fan. Unfortunately, the installation of that Aeroactive Cooler is really sloppy and counterintuitive. You see, once you peel the protective sheet off, you uncover the lateral ports, the USB-C port, and the slot in which you fit the cooler's pins. And by fit, I mean you randomly push it in and out until it clicks. I got it wrong and the phone unexpectedly shut down. This is just stupid, and if you want to take it out, you just pull it out. Therefore, the entire process of attaching the cooler is not counterintuitive, it's straight garbage. Now, speaking of tuning and fine-tuning, the phone does have some cool traits as well, such as recognizing the game and optimizing the settings accordingly. Fun fact, Asus installed the processor in the middle of the phone, and that's not just a gimmick. The CPU tends to overheat as you keep playing, but you're using the phone in landscape mode, so your hands and fingers are placed on both ends, while the cooling fan and the CPU overlap in the middle. Get it? Basically, you won't fry your tiny wee fingers. Asus claims that the additional cooler can lower the CPU temperature by up to 10 degrees and the surface temperature by up to 15 degrees. Let's test that. So far, we've been able to measure the surface temperature. After some rounds of real racing and Mortal Kombat, I've run the benchmarks with and without the extra cooler. And the cooler works. Maybe it's not that promised temperature of minus 15 degrees, but rather some 2-3 degrees during a short period of gaming time. If you play for longer, the temperature should drop even more. That is, if you don't mind frozen fingers. On the other hand, you risk barbecuing your fingers if you don't attach the cooler. In terms of gaming, ROG Phone 5 is an absolute beast. Not only can you show off by having a cool cyberpunk-like smartphone, but the system works like a charm, better than any other Android phone I've ever tested. Besides the processor power and the game optimization modes, there are also some other crucial aspects. The screen and the size. Dude, this toy is huge, and at this point my iPhone 12 Pro Max is nothing more than a tiny Lego brick. More specifically, ROG Phone 5 features a super shiny AMOLED display, a maximum brightness of 1200 nits, 10-bit Full HD+. But the biggest edge here is the 144Hz refresh rate. The word fluidity is not enough. Eye candy, and I mean it. Produced by Samsung, the screen has a 1 millisecond response time, always on HDR10+, protected by the already famous Gorilla Glass Victus. This display is encased by a metal frame sporting an engraved ROG logo, and its seamless continuity is interrupted only by the power and volume buttons, the two USB 3 ports and the audio jack. Yes, it does have two USB 3 ports. Both of them can be used for charging, but here's the trick. One of them is placed on the left side, here, for two smart reasons. One being comfort during gaming, because you won't be bothered by the charging cable while you're playing in landscape mode, the other one being accessibility, so you can attach various accessories. In addition, that audio jack might come in handy, so it's a cool thing to have that on a gaming phone, which might be used with a cool headset. By the way, alongside ROG Phone 5, Asus also launched this new Cetra iteration, their in-ear gaming phones. Oh my, would you look at that, they do have a jack. The phone is completed by a magnificent backside, their most beautiful design to date, especially concerning the white model. I wanted to show this variant because it's more outlandish, more exotic. The 8-bit style ROG logo is simply gorgeous. The camera setup is discreet and elegant. Simply put, I fell in love with its design, with its extravagant pointy edges. The logo can change its color, and this entire 8-bit charade is not cringy or exaggerated at all. As of dimensions, Asus ROG Phone 5 is like a battle tank, over 17 cm length and almost 240 grams in weight. The display is flanked by a DTS:X stereo speaker system. Obviously, I tested the audio quality as well, comparing it with what the iPhone 12 Pro Max has to offer. As a side note, from my perspective, this latter's audio is what I call the standard. ROG Phone 5 does have a louder, more prominent sound, but compared to iPhone 12 Pro Max, it sounds like the Rings of Saturn. Now, don't get me wrong, the sound quality is good, it denotes details, but it has some weird reverberation the iPhone 12 Pro Max lacks, thankfully. The iPhone is less loud, but the sound is more precise and sharper. On the other hand, the ROG Phone 5 is like a sonic boom during gaming. It also features haptic feedback optimized for audio, so it vibrates in certain in-game situations, just like a controller. Nice add to immersion, I'd say. It is compatible with several accessories such as controllers, docks and headphones, but these are sold separately and unlike the older versions, not even the additional cooler is included, the sole exception being the Pro and Ultimate models. To make up for it, the package includes the 65-watt hypercharger, so let's discuss a key aspect: battery and charging. With great power comes greater need for more power juice. The 6000 mAh battery is split into two 3000 mAh sections. Take that, use the 65-watt brick, and boom, full charge in under an hour. As a bonus, you can even turn the phone into a power bank and reverse charge at 10 watts using the backside. What's left to discuss? The photo specs, I guess. They retain the same characteristics as the previous models, meaning they're decent. But hey, it's a gaming phone, not a mirrorless camera. The main camera features a 26mm f1.8 Sony IMX686 sensor with 64 megapixels, widely recurrent, and it does a nice job. Next, we have a 13 megapixels ultra-wide sensor and a 5 megapixels macro. I'll gladly leave the ultra-wide and macro behind in favor of a telephoto. The main 26mm camera is more than enough for some ultra-wide stuff, and who gives a damn about that 5 megapixels macro? It's not like you're studying microbiology. Finally, the setup includes a 27mm front camera. Unfortunately, this one lacks 4K recording, so you might need to make do with Full HD videos. That doesn't make sense. The main camera offers 8K recording, with not even the slightest interest of blessing one of the other sensors with 4K. A bit odd. If I were to sum it up, I would say this: ROG Phone 5 is a worthy new member of this family people call gaming phones. And in this respect, Asus seem to be the top dog. It still has to face competition, of course, Black Shark, Nubia, Red Magic and others, but ROG Phone is, without a doubt, the king. You know what they say, it's good to be a king. ROG Phone 5 is spectacular, is tough, and is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful Android smartphone so far. I have no mixed feelings, I like it a lot. The 8-bit style ROG logo on the back is just awesome, and the fact that it naturally complements the wideness of the model makes it simply gorgeous. What's more, once you see it, you'll know it's an ROG phone. But I'm not the messiah, so my opinions are not some fundamental teachings. Therefore, I welcome you into the comment section. Tell me, what do you think of ROG Phone 5? What did you like and did not like about it? Would you be interested in getting one of these babies instead of some more traditional offers like Samsung, Huawei, Xiaomi or Apple? Yes, no, why? Come join our channel and let the fun begin.